Today we're deep diving into the shadows with the sneakiest, most cunning group of Space Marines, Combat Patrol Strike Team Solarien. These guys are the Navy SEALs of the Warhammer 40k universe. They just don't walk into battle. They appear like a pop quiz and calculus class, unexpected and unwelcome. Let's go! What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Miniatures Tavern. My name is Watts, and today we're going to deep dive into Combat Patrol Strike Team Salarian. Now, this Combat Patrol made its debut in the White Dwarf issue 496. This was the first White Dwarf alternative Combat Patrol scheme that you could take models that you already had in your collection, and you could configure them to have a different flavor of Combat Patrol. I really like that idea. Since then, they've released Tyranids, they've released Necrons. I believe in this current issue, they've released Agents of the Imperium. So this is just a way for Games Workshop to add different flavor to their Combat Patrol. So let's go ahead and take a look at the composition of Strike Team Salarian. Now, this Combat Patrol is a mixture of two separate kits, and it's a little difficult to acquire if you don't have the models already. But on the basic box, you're going to get one Lieutenant Salarian, you're going to get a 10-man Infiltrator squad, you're going to get a 3-man Suppressor squad, and you're going to get one Librarian Zerus. This Combat Patrol is comprised and made up today of the Vanguard Task Force box and the Librarian and Phobos armor. It's going to give you a total of 15 models. It comes in at 410 total points, and this is where it gets a little dicey, the price for the box. The Vanguard Task Force box is $140 on the Games Workshop website, but it's currently unavailable. On Amazon, you can get up the box for $240 to $243. And on eBay, you can get it for $129 to $299 for the two kits. Now, what makes this Combat Patrol so expensive is the 3-man Suppressor Squad. These models are not available on their own. They've always been a part of a box. They came in the original Space Marine Combat Patrol box, and now they are packed into the Vanguard Strike Force box or Task Force box. So that's the only way you can get these models. So the price for this box is always a little higher. Never quite understood why they did that. I think Games Workshop would do way better with sales if they offered them as a 3-man box unit for $60, $70. But up until now, that has not been the case. So as I said earlier, you can acquire this by, if you were lucky enough to pick up the old Combat Patrol box that had the Impulsor in it. If you have that box, you basically just need to buy the Phobos Librarian and you will have that. Or if you missed out on the original Space Marines Combat Patrol box, you're going to have to pick up the Vanguard Strike Team box and also the Librarian and Phobos armor. So kind of tricky to get these models, kind of tricky to field this Combat Patrol, but that's how you're going to acquire it if you want to run it. So let's go ahead and take a look how to equip these models in this Combat Patrol. Lieutenant Salarian is going to be equipped with a bolt pistol, a mastercrafted bolt carbine, and paired combat blades. Your 3-man Suppressor Squad, every model is going to be equipped with an accelerator autocannon, a bolt pistol, and a close combat weapon. Librarian Zerus is going to be equipped with a bolt pistol, smite, and force weapon. And then finally, your Infiltrator Squad, and these 10 models are going to be equipped with a bolt pistol, a marksman bolt carbine, and a close combat weapon. So some pretty decent weapons, a lot of shooting in this Combat Patrol. Shooty, shooty, shooty. It's not melee strong, so just keep that in mind if you decide to field this. It's shoot and move, shoot and move. So next up, we're going to take a look at the Army rules, abilities, and enhancements. The Army rule for Strike Team Salarian is Oath of Moment, which means at the start of your command phase, select one unit from your opponent's army. Until the start of your next command phase, that enemy unit is your Oath of Moment target. Each time a model with this ability makes an attack that targets your Oath of Moment target, you can reroll the hit roll. So you're going to get reroll hits. That's the army-wide rule. So just like every other Space Marine combat patrol, well, not everyone, but for the majority of Space Marines, they're going to get Oath of Moment as our army rule. Same here for Strike Team Salarian. Default enhancements. Your first enhancement that you're going to be able to give to your Warlord, your default enhancement, is going to be auto choral resonators. And at the end of your command phase, if the bearer's unit is within range of an objective marker you control, that objective marker remains under your control even if you have no models within range of it, until your opponent controls it at the start of any turn. So basically, you give you sticky objectives, and you're going to be able to control that objective until the start of the next turn. Your optional enhancement is going to be Stealthy Hunter. The bearer has the Lone Operative and Stealth abilities, and its Mastercrafted Bolt Carbine has the Anti-Infantry 4 and Devastating Wounds and Precision abilities. So this is pretty great, right? You're going to get one enhancement that you can put on your lieutenant that's going to give you sticky objectives for the unit. But if you decide to run that lieutenant as a lone operative, he's going to become a Stealthy Hunter, and he's going to get Anti-Infantry 4 up. He's going to get Devastating Wounds and Precision. So something to think about. I like the second enhancement better myself, and just kind of run him off to the side by himself. He becomes a character killer and a vehicle killer at that point. It is risky because you got to run him solo, but just something to think about. Moving on to stratagems, you got 3 stratagems like every other combat patrol that you're going to be able to choose from. Now remember, stratagems, and I say this in every video, stratagems are just little, you can spend a command point, and they're just little enhancements, right? They're like little things and skills that you can give your army to give you an edge during the battle. So the first stratagem is called Vanguard Strike, and this is going to happen in the command phase. Until the start of your next command phase, add 1 to the objective control characteristic of models in your unit. So pretty good. You're going to get +1 to your OC characteristic. The second enhancement is called the Giant Slayer Doctrine, and this is going to happen in your shooting phase. Until the end of the phase, improve the armor penetration characteristic of ranged weapons equipped by models in your unit by 1, and those weapons have the Anti-Monster 4 and Anti-Vehicle 4 abilities. This is pretty tasty. This one command point, you're going to be able to beef up your unit of, let's say, your infiltrators, and this is pretty good. You know, they're going to get +1 AP, or your suppressors, they're going to get +1 AP. They're going to be Anti-Monster 4 and Anti-Vehicle 4. Finally, the third stratagem is called Rapid Repositioning, and this can happen in your opponent's movement phase, just after an enemy unit ends a normal, advanced, and fallback move. And this is going to allow you to move your unit, make a normal move with your unit of up to 3 inches. So a little bit of movement there, right? So you got some objective control. You've got some Giant Slayer where you're going to beef up your ranged attacks, and you're going to be able to move out of the way, hopefully during their movement phase, to try to increase their charge distance into you, because again, super shooty, not very good in close combat. So let's go ahead and jump into the meat and patates. Let's look at the data sheets for Strike Team Solarian. First up is Lieutenant Salarian. He's got a 6-inch movement, toughness 4, saves on 3s, 4 wounds, leadership is 6, and his objective control is 1. His ranged weapons, he's equipped with a bolt pistol that has the pistol tag, which means you're going to be able to shoot that in engagement range in the fight. You know, in the shooting phase, when you fight, you'll be able to shoot that. He's hitting on 2s, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. And then he's also equipped with a master crafted bolt carbine that has a 24-inch range, 2 attacks, hitting on 2s, strength 4, AP 0, damage 2. So you can see where maybe that one stratagem that beefs up your attacks is really going to come in handy. His melee weapons, he has paired combat blades. They're sustained hits 1, which means you're going to get exploding 6s. So for every 6 you roll, you're going to pick up an extra hit. 5 attacks, hitting on 2s, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. He is the leader, so he can be attached to your Infiltrator squad. His abilities are Deep Strike, Infiltrator, Leader, and he gets a scout move of 6 inches. And remember, scout moves happen before the game starts, right? So you roll to determine who deploys first, and then you roll to determine who goes first, and then before the game starts you get to make your scout moves 6 inches in any direction. His ability is strategic dispersal in your shooting phase after this model's unit has shot. If it is not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units, it can make a normal move of up to D6. So pretty nice. This is, you know, shoot and dip. He's got shoot and dip, so that's pretty nifty. Next up, we have Librarian Zerus. Librarian Zerus moves 6 inches. His toughness is 4. He saves on 3s. He's got 4 wounds. His leadership is 6, and his OC is 1. He's also equipped with a bolt pistol, 12-inch range, 1 attack, hitting on 3s, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. Again, it's pistol tag, so you can fire that into combat. He also has Smite, Witchfire, which is his psychic attack, 24-inch range. You have a D6 attack, so you're going to roll 1 dice, and whatever that dice shows, that's the number of attacks you get. Hitting on 3s, strength 5, AP -1, damage D3. And then if you do focused Witchfire and you focus it, he's going to have devastating wounds, but he's also going to have to take that hazardous check. And remember, when you take a hazardous check, if you roll a 1, you dead. His range is 24 inches, D6 attacks, hitting on 3s, strength 6, AP -2, D3 damage. Again, might be great to beef that up. You can pump that up to AP -3. And you're going to crit, you're going to wound on 4s for monsters, and you're going to wound on 4s for vehicles, so not bad. His melee weapon is a force weapon. It's got 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, strength 6, AP -1, D3 damage, and he can be attached to the Infiltrator squad as well. So you can see that you can attach the Librarian to the Infiltrator squad and then run your lieutenant a little separate. He has Infiltrator and he's a leader. He has Shrouding, which is a psychic ability. While this model is leading a unit, models in that unit have the stealth ability, and that unit cannot be targeted by range attacks unless the attacking model is within 12 inches. This is pretty nice. This is going to help with durability. You could run your lieutenant separate, put him with the Infiltrator squad, and now if your opponent is outside of 12 inches, they cannot attack your squad. They can't attack your 10-man squad. Attached to Librarian. If you split the squad up in 2 units of 5, then you can put him with 1, but why not run that 10-man squad and give them stealth? Super good. Good. Next up, we have the Infiltrator squad. They move 6. Their toughness is 4. They're saving on 3s. They have 2 wounds each. Their leadership characteristic is 6, and their objective control is 1. They are equipped with bolt pistols, 12-inch range, 1 attack, hitting on 3s, a strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage. They also have the Marksman Bolt Carbine, which has the heavy tag, which means if these units do not move, then they improve their ballistic skill by 1. So their range is 24 inches. They get 2 attacks. They're hitting on 3s or 2s if they stay still. Their strength is 4. Their AP is 0. Their damage is 1. They are armed with close combat weapons, which is basically fisticuffs. They get 3 attacks each, hitting on 3s, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. They have patrol squads before the battle at the start of the declare battle formation step. This unit can be split into 2 units, each containing 5 models. I briefly mentioned that in the last card. So you can split these up in 2 units of 5, or you can run them as a 10-man brick with a librarian attached to them. They have an ability called Omni Scramblers, and enemy units that are set up on the battlefield from reserves cannot be set up within 12 inches of this unit, which means if you do separate them into 2 5-man squads, you might consider leaving 1 5-man squad on your home objective, because that's going to give a 12-inch buffer where your opponent is not going to be able to deep strike within 12 inches of your unit on your backfield. So you can drop this in on top of your objective marker in your deployment zone, and you're going to have a 12-inch buffer surrounding that. Also, you're going to have a 12-inch buffer wherever the other 5-man squad is. So, you know, middle of the field. You know, they're infiltrators, so they don't have to be set up in your deployment zone. You can set them up anywhere on the board and use that 12-inch buffer. Just something to think about if you decide to take this. Super powerful, really good abilities, strategic abilities. Just give some thought on where you want to put those units. And lastly, I believe we have the Suppressor Squad. Now, these guys move 12 inches. Their toughness is 4. They're saving on 3s. They have 2 wounds. Their leadership is 6. Their objective control is 1. They are equipped with an accelerator autocannon. It's heavy, which means if they don't move, they get +1 to their ballistic skill. So the range on these weapons is 48 inches, which means you're going to be able to shoot the board. They get 3 attacks. They're hitting on 4s or 3s if they don't move. Strength 8, AP -1, damage 2. Remember, you have the stratagem to beef this up. Okay, so you could potentially be looking at AP -2, damage 2, wounded vehicles, and monsters on 4. They also have a pistol, so if your opponent gets into combat with them, they can still shoot. 1 attack, hitting on 3s, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. And their melee is basically fisticuffs. They're going to get 3 attacks each, hitting on 3s, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. They have the ability called Suppression Fire. And in your shooting phase, after this unit has shot, select 1 enemy unit hit by 1 or more of those attacks made with an accelerator autocannon. Until the start of your next turn, while this unit is on the battlefield, that enemy unit is suppressed. While a unit is suppressed, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. This is a great unit to perch on top of a building towards the back of your field, within range of those infiltrators, so that they're covered in that 12-inch bubble. They're going to be able to shoot the board. You've got that stratagem that you can increase their AP, and it's also going to debuff your opponent and make your opponent have to roll higher in order to hit your units. So there's some really good synergies in this army, especially with the stratagems. And then remember, if you take the enhancement that keeps your lieutenant as a lone operative, you got that. He can deep strike into your opponent's backfield. So I hope you're starting to kind of think about what you would do and how you would play this army if you decide to take this combat patrol box. All right, and finally, let's go ahead and take a look at the SWAT analysis, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to strike Team Solarien. We'll start with strengths. First of all, we have versatility and stealth. Strike Team Solarien's troops are equipped for stealth and versatile combat roles. This includes heavy weapon and close combat capabilities. Their ability to use stealth and subterfuge makes them effective in achieving surprise and tactical advantages over the enemy. They also have specialized abilities. Units like the Infiltrator Squad with Omni Scramblers can control large battlefield areas and prevent enemy reserve units from surprising them. Such capabilities will enable strategic battlefield control. And they have high mobility. The use of the Phobos armored troops and units like the Suppressor Squad with jump packs allows for rapid movement and repositioning. This is critical in fluid battle scenarios. So those are some strengths. The weaknesses, durability concerns. The Combat Patrol is noted for not being particularly durable. We've talked about that, and this can play a significant disadvantage in prolonged or heavy firefights. Dependency on strategic positioning. The effectiveness of many units, such as the Suppressor Squad, relies heavily on maintaining optimal positioning, which can be disrupted by savvy opponents or unpredictable battlefield conditions. And finally, limited numbers. As a specialized strike team, the units might be outnumbered in larger conflicts, limiting their effectiveness in sustained engagements. Again, super shooty, not so good in melee. Opportunities. They got tactical innovations. The unique abilities of Strike Team Salarian, such as the rapid repositioning and the Giant Slayer stratagem, offer opportunities to develop new tactical uses and combinations that you can use to surprise opponents. The expansion of roles, the adaptability of the team to various chapters, and the potential for customization with different chapter tactics offer opportunities for expanding their role in diverse gaming scenarios. And then finally, this is a great box to integrate with larger forces. So this is a great unit to add to bigger models, bigger armies. Salarian's units can be effectively integrated as part of a larger forces, serving as the Vanguard or a specialized unit within broader strategic plans. Finally, threats. We've got advanced enemy technologies. Opponents with advanced scanning or anti-stealth technologies could negate the stealth advantages of units like the Infiltrators and Librarian Zerus. Heavy artillery and area of denial. The team's reliance on mobility and stealth can be compromised by enemy use of heavy artillery, area of denial weapons, or overwhelming firepower, especially if you're playing somebody like the Astra Militarum and they don't have to have line of sight in order to target your units. That is definitely a threat. And finally, like every army, it can be affected by changes in game rules. Modifications to the Warhammer 40k rule set could potentially undermine the current strategic advantages provided by the team's abilities and stratagems. So there you go. That is the SWAT analysis for Strike Team Solarian. And this SWAT analysis really highlights the strategic positioning of Strike Team Solarian within the Warhammer 40k universe, offering insights into their potential battlefield roles and tactical applications. Well, guys, that has the end of the video. Thanks for sticking around. Let me know what you think about Strike Team Solarian. Again, it has a high cost entry point. It's kind of a fragile army, but it is kind of nifty to play stealth versions. I do have this Combat Patrol. I have played this Combat Patrol twice, and both times I got annihilated. I'm not even gonna lie to you. So but again, I'm not the world's best Warhammer player. I am adequate at best. I just like to roll dice and have fun. Have you tried this Combat Patrol? If so, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about it. If there's something you think that I missed, go ahead and leave a comment down there. Thanks for checking out the video. Again, I'm Watts. Thanks for showing up. If you like the video, please give us a like. Please subscribe to our channel if you wish. And I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.